So starting at the top, we had 2,500 registrants. We had a lot of overseas speakers. I say a lot. We had Amir and Holly Fernandez Lynch. We had Lena Ås Johansson from Norway. And I think, and we would have had Edward Dove as well from Ireland, but we had some technical difficulties there. And I think the contribution overseas speakers make is to show us that it's not just about what happens in Australia, that we can learn from what happens overseas. So when Holly talked about quality assessment in the US, I think, that really gives us, and the outcomes of that will give us a template for how we should be assessing ethics committees. And that's notwithstanding the work of the Safety and Quality Commission. And Michael, if you're online, we are looking forward to having these quality standards. I still feel we can learn from overseas and what happens there. And Amir Reza Merkal's talk yesterday about 58 million patient records and how through a process of trustworthiness, they managed, through letting GPs control the data, they've managed to access data from 58 million NHS patients. That's just incredible. And we are a bit behind the 8 ball there, and we really have to learn from them. Lena Ås Johansson talked about the human remains in Norway. And I guess what was fundamentally different is although they use our guidelines and they look at our guidelines for guidance, they are fundamentally ahead of us in some ways. For example, having an Indigenous Parliament when they're talking about Indigenous remains. So, clearly we can learn a lot from overseas. Now, that's not meant to be political. It's just a fact of the matter. But I think the contribution made by the overseas speakers is wonderful, and I think we should always try and encourage that, time zones notwithstanding. We managed to accommodate all proposals. Sarah put out an expression of interest for abstracts. We've managed to accommodate everyone. And I hope you agree, we've managed to dovetail them nicely into a thematic approach. So that consent session there, I love the consent session, came about because largely they were all proposed talks as opposed to invited talks. I think we're always grateful for the proposals. Trying to fit everyone in within 3 days is really difficult. Now, clearly we're finishing early today because we know no one wants to be here at 5 o'clock on a Friday, but we could easily fill a whole week with ethics, and how we manage this throughout the year is really a wider discussion. The chat engagement was just amazing. Thank you so much for your engagement. It really was just incredible. A quote from Amir, I'm not sure if that's on the next slide. No, it's not on the next slide, but what Amir said was he felt so much love and warmth in his talk because of the reactions in chat. He knew that when he was talking to hundreds of people and he couldn't see them, he could tell from the responses about the jokes that were being made and the amazing things that were done. And he said it filled him with enthusiasm. So thank you so much for that. I think that's really important to reflect that speakers get a lot of can get a lot of love from the audience. As I say, there's no thumbs down here. The coordinator session I thought was fantastic. Well done, Sophie and Sarah and Lawrence and Courtney. That was really good. Great to see the 160 people online there. So there's a community of practice there throughout Australia, which really assists ethics committees to do what they need to do. And I do think it does show that having one annual meeting is wonderful, but there are probably sub meetings that need to occur throughout the year. For example, a chairs meeting, and I will discuss this with David Cook because David's very enthused as well. So some thank yous, of course, to Sarah, without whom this would never occur. I am but the voice, and Sarah does all the work behind the scenes. So Sarah, thank you once again. Please take virtual flowers. Again, I've only ever given you flowers once, but more virtual flowers. Maybe someone can send some flowers to Sarah on the reactions. Thank you for that. Some love hearts and claps. The organizing committee members, Eleanor Milligan, Paula Swatman, Nick Zepps, Sophie Gatenby, Hudson Burden, and there's others, and I just can't remember, and I'm terribly sorry, but they're in the program. Thank you so much for that. It would be good to have some diversity in organizing. So if you want to help organize this next year, get on board. Our supporters and sponsors, Helios Incorporating Challenger Privacy, Health Translation Queensland, Praxis and Belbury. And no, we don't get any financial support, by the way. Health Translation Queensland pay for Sarah's time. Helios give us a discount in Andrea Calais' time. But we don't, we don't have any money for this. So I think we do a pretty good job without any moolah. I hope you'll agree. Thank you to the plenary speakers. In fact, thank you to all speakers. As someone in the coordinator session said, they think this has been the best one yet. I thought last year was the best one yet. But you know what? I'm happy to accept the fact that this is the best one yet. You just never really know. And once again, thank you, Sarah, several times because we have had so few glitches. Apart from Edward Dove, we've had no glitches this year at all. And sorry, Rhonda, a little glitch there. And while I'm on thank yous, and I will note that Ian has announced his soon-to-be retirement, and this will happen to many people. But Ian, again, your contribution and polemic discourse over the years is something we will miss. I think we all need to be challenged and we all need to consider provocative statements. So thank you for your input. Now, here was a quote from Amir. The audience was extremely generous with their affection and feedback. I felt huge warmth, even though I couldn't see anyone. So there you go. He did blush and it did boost his energy. So I love that. I think it's great to get that feedback that people feel that warmth. Now, on to the meat and potatoes of this final stretch. And what we did, I discussed with Mirella Ghazal, and Mirella's online here, and David Cook about the fact we could, in fact, have a little award for the best talk at the conference. And what we want to do here is announce the best talk at the conference. So I'd suggested these criteria: conciseness, impactfulness, informativeness, and then the Rob Lobley criterion. Now I'm going to leave Mirella to talk to the Rob Lobley criterion and then announce the winner of the Rob Lobley Award. So Mirella, if you're there, over to you.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Gordon?
can. Thanks. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Gordon. And thank you for allowing me to announce the Rob Lobley Award. I hope everyone has had a wonderful conference. I've had a wonderful time and congratulations again, Gordon, Sarah, and the team. So Gordon just pretty much asked me to talk about the Rob Lobley criterion probably about an hour ago. So I've just put this together. And so just letting you know that I did not get prior ethics approval with this criterion, but Gordon has given me executive approval in a group chat, and I will develop a corrective and preventative action plan going forward. So what is the Rob Lobley criterion? And I guess this is just probably in my own words, is that Rob was always thought outside of the box. Everyone who knew him drew that conclusion of him very quickly. I just want to take you back because last summer in 2023, I learned that Rob's favorite fiction writer was John le Carré, who in Rob's own words is the acknowledged master of spy novels, and notably the trilogy which includes Smiley's People. Now, Rob had shared his admiration for le Carré with me last summer when we had been working on an integrity matter, and we were searching for a set of HREC minutes from the early 1990s in the archive rooms which are located externally off-site. Anyone working in integrity matters knows all too well what type of stress this is. Rob had given me the nickname Connie and explained that in the trilogy, George Smiley is this protagonist who digs into the archives with Connie's help to eventually unmask the mole and his nefarious handler. I think one of the reasons why le Carré was one of his favorite fiction writers probably can be summarized by a critic who described le Carré characters as follows. Ultimately, Smiley's People, the book, are all those who choose humanity over ideology and individuals over institutions. I think this sums up Rob perfectly, and which is why I think should be the basis of the Rob Lobley criterion, which is thinking outside of the box, choosing humanity over ideology and individuals over institutions. And with that, I am happy to announce that the Rob Lobley Award goes to Mr. Carl McKenzie. Oops.
There we go.
Mr. Carl McKenzie, Townsville HHS HREC Chair of the Townsville Justice Group and Queensland Parole Board member, in his talk, How to Improve Your Research Outcomes When Working with First Nations People. A big congratulations, Carl.
Oh my goodness, Meryl, I'm tearing up. That's just wonderful. And for those that have, I better put myself back in video. For those that I've read all the John le Carré books, and I think that's right. And you as Connie, I can absolutely see you as Connie by the way. A great series of books if anyone wants to read them. Marilla, thank you so much, and please thank
Very
David
welcome.
and the Sydney Local Health District HREC. We can make this an annual award. I think your thoughts on Rob's humanity and his out of the boxness were just wonderful there. I really really love that. So
Thank you.
perhaps we can make this an annual award, and you can even suggest the Rob Lobley oration if you like.
Sounds good. Sounds
Now,
good. Thank you.
I'm going to let you get back to your ICH-GCP training or something,
ISO
whatever.
training.
ISO training, much more important than this. Okay, Marilla, great to talk, and we'll speak soon.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Okay, and one of the final things I want to do is just for those that didn't listen to Mandy Downing's talk this morning. Mandy was one of the authors of the Routledge Handbook of Human Research Ethics and Integrity in Australia herself, and Michael Martin, who was on our HREC panel yesterday, and also Bruce Smith. And those that saw Mandy brandish the book this morning will see what an amazingly large tome it is. But having had the opportunity to write a little foreword and read some of it, it's something that if I could fit it on my bookshelf, I would certainly do that. So probably a must for ethics committees, at least to ponder some of the provocative and insightful comments in there. So I think almost with that, it's goodbye from us. I would just encourage you to complete the online survey that Sarah's about to send. And I think, as I foreshadowed, having one meeting a year, it's amazing. Like it's great to do it, and it's chaos for about 3 or 4 weeks, and then we have a bit of a calm before the meeting, and it's chaos again for the 3 days, and then we'll just start all over again. And the question will be how to make it bigger and better, but also how do we be as inclusive as possible and bring into, and I hesitate to use the word operationalization, some of these things that we learned from this conference or we know we need, be that consumer engagement, be that chairs meeting more often, be that coordinators meeting more often, to be able to be influential in groups, in situations such as the development of accreditation guidelines for ethics committees or even the national one-stop shop. These are things we should be involved in. And the question is, how do we achieve that? So I think we will certainly put our heads together and see what we can do during the year. But apart from that, I don't think I have anything left to say. It's been a really enjoyable 3 days. I hope you've all enjoyed that. Once again, from myself and Sarah and Natalie, who assisted today, and the organizing committee, we thank the speakers and the audience wholeheartedly. Your engagement really makes a huge difference. I love these reactions, by the way. I think Zoom has done us proud by allowing people to react. So for the final time, and I will say that the music that you're about to hear is from Felicity Lawless and Black Rabbit George, from her flamenco phase, as Hudson told us today. For the last time, Sarah, would you potentially put on some music for the next 5 minutes, and we'll allow everyone else to slink away into the ether. May I wish you all a good weekend. I hope you enjoyed the conference. Please give us favorable feedback and tell us what you think was good and bad, because it's the only way we learn. Apart from that, as they say, it's good afternoon, good evening, good night. Adios, hasta luego, hasta la próxima, and ciao for now.